black people at the core of the issue. I'm starting to see, as long as I've been here in Africa and I've talked to blacks over the world, black people really dislike one another and hate themselves.
Hi guys, welcome to Kenganda. My name is Janita Maya and this is the REPAT podcast. I'll let my co-hosts introduce themselves.
Yes, people, maintain DJ and producer, first generation Caribbean.
Okay.
Living in Kampala 5 years now.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
O'Shea Duke Jackson, 55th generation African-American from the West Coast, stand up. You know what I'm saying? Living in Kampala, let's get to it.
Okay, perfect. It's nice how you guys know which generation you are, because I don't think a typical Ugandan knows what generation they are. We're just here like, oh, I'm just...
Oh, the thing is, for you it's different because my parents were born in the Caribbean, went to London, had me, which means I'm first generation.
Oh.
Then my kids are second generation Caribbean, so... That's,
that makes sense.
I just made the number up.
You haven't got, you ain't.
I don't even think there should be 5 generations of African Americans in America, but it's probably a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Okay, O'Shea, introduce the topic and take it away.
All right, so this topic is a little controversial for some. Maybe not to the brothers and sisters that watch our channel, because people that watch Kenganda tend to be more pro-black, more militant. But there is a YouTuber that has sort of logistically grown by the name of Just Pearly Things. She is Caucasian. So Just Pearly Things did something similar, I would say, to me coming here, except that she moved to London. She was already a YouTuber. I think she had maybe like 15,000 subscribers, but she's from a very affluent, elite family. And she was interested in the black content space. So reactions on hip hop videos. She has no experience with the black community at all, but was reporting on it, okay? And she sent me an email in 2021 asking me would I come on to her show and things like that. I declined because I kind of like, what am I going to talk to you about? And I'm not going to talk to you about, you're 26. So, and I hate to say this, I'm a black YouTuber. So I only deal with my content space for the most part. Don't make me racist or anything. This is just my niche. So make a long story short, Kevin Samuels passed, just, you know, out the blue. Yeah. And there was a void in that market. So you saw the rise of Andrew Tate at the time, which he was already doing pretty good. Then you saw the rise of just a lot of different people filling the void at that time. Fresh and Fit podcast. Yeah. They were already doing well. They got even more popular. Then Just Pearly Things came. So Just Pearly Things was running what we consider a live stream podcast setup. What we do is pre-recorded. But she does a live stream podcast, which entails like a Black Magic ATM mini switcher, bringing in different guests. And typically it's similar to Fresh and Fit in that you have women coming in there from London. And it was a good place to go because London is hot and they didn't have a real podcast that was at this level. So she took that infrastructure and system to London. And then, but the difference between her, I would say like Fresh and Fit, almost the entire cast is African. So you have more of the colleagues working with her that are black. One of them in particular is a brother by the name of Sarwar Garvey. Now, Sarwar Garvey was already popular in the black London YouTube space before. So she reached out to him before coming to London. So when they came and started the podcast together, it was his fan base also that was supporting her. So she literally built the fan base off of this guy's channel, part of it at least, right? So he was, she was like the business person. He was like the, and he was like the, you know, contributor to the content space. Yeah. Anyways, make a long story short, the almost all her team that works for her on TikTok is just like our team. Yeah. Everybody here is African except for Dima. And if you want to say SBK, who's African American. Yeah. And Maintain, who's Caribbean. But everybody was from like Nigeria, King Riches, a guy named Blessing. So she started generating a lot of money, a lot of revenue. Then, but talking about dating topics on YouTube tends to get boring. So you saw her trying to shift into something that was a little bit more right wing, right? So it comes to a situation where she had Nick Fuentes, which is a white supremacist mixed with German and Hispanic, which is crazy because how are you a white supremacist mixed with those two things? But anyway, she brought him there. He's kicked off the internet for hate speech. And then I can play maybe some of the clips like right now of what he's accused of. And then we'll come back.
The argument was the Holocaust was not special and all countries have done that.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
so you're saying, why is the Holocaust special?
Yeah, basically.
Oh. Okay, what do you mean, basically?
Well, yeah, I mean, because of course, you know, we're getting into the details of it, but yeah, that's the gist.
Yeah, I mean, but you kind of deny it happened.
I deny some of the parts of it.
You deny parts of it don't seem realistic to you. You think they were embellished upon.
I think they're embellished, yeah.
The same way. This sounds... Oh, gosh.
Oh, boy.
They're going to be in trouble. This sounds similar to the slavery stuff, too, because that's literally the founder of, or the guy who made Roots said, I wanted a myth for my people to live by. So they often, but that's what they do is they embellish, and I'm not trying to say it wasn't horrible, it was.
Right.
But they want to make it like more horrible so that they can control people.
yeah.
I was like, "Stem, no." They all said I was crazy. Who's laughing now? Who's laughing now? Austin.
Well, but hey, you're very industrious.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there are a lot of people that would like to be a YouTuber because they'd like people to care about their opinions and like what they ate for lunch and, you know, things about my life that just make sense or whatever. But how many people could make a company and deal with the things you deal with, you know, like recruiting and, you know, because I mean, not on the same scale as you, but I do things and it's tough. You know, it's a business. It's fun in front of the camera, but behind the scenes, it's a business. And that is a German attribute to be industrious. I'm Italian. The only times I'm on time for things is when I like get the time wrong, when I think I'm supposed to be there way earlier than I'm actually supposed to be there. Because I thought I was supposed to be here at 3.
Oh, really?
That's why I texted you. I texted you, I'm on my way because I thought I was already 10 minutes late when I was leaving.
Yeah, well, it's okay. Blessing was more late African.
Well, he's black.
Yeah.
Basically, that particular clip is, number one, her kind of denouncing slavery. Like, she not denouncing, but saying that, okay, slavery wasn't as bad. And then also him telling, look, you know, you're dating a black guy, so Italians don't mess with you, because one of the ladies there is dating a guy that works for her.
Yeah.
All right. So then there's a Sarah Garvey guy who comes out and says, listen, I want to tell the truth. She's giving us a bad deal. Like, if you sign to her podcast network, she takes like 70% minimum of all the profits of your channels. So it's almost like, okay, you're signed to my network, O'Shea Duke Jackson, but you do all the work and you only keep 15% of the profits. At best, 30% of the profits.
Yeah.
So now what's happening is you got a lot of these blacks supporting her. She was going to apologize to the blacks. They're saying don't apologize on one end. And then you're having a lot of blacks on the other end saying that she's wrong, she needs to be canceled. So that's kind of where we're at with the situation that's kind of going on right now with Just Pearly things.
Yeah.
But I'll let you guys you know, kind of talk about it and what you think and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So we maintain.
Yeah. What's up, Jonita?
Uh-oh.
Are you freezing?
Yeah, I'm freezing. I'm frozen. I came across her maybe, I don't know, let's say a year ago.
Okay.
It was the viral clip when she was talking about women with a high body count that make good partners. They're more statistically tend to cheat, etc., etc. So that caught my attention, right? Because you generally don't see a woman on social media with that sort of viewpoint and pushing it back with stats, etc. So that's when she first came across my radar. But I'm not really, you know what I mean? Like, I saw the clips and I thought they were cool and all that, but I wasn't really into her.
Why not?
I don't know. It was just, I just looked at the clip. I was like, okay, that's cool. Okay, stats, okay, seemed to pan out, and then that was it. It didn't make me want to watch a full episode of anything she was doing. I just liked the clips. Whereas,
got it.
For argument's sake, in my opinion, podcast, right?
All right.
You see their clips, I'm like, okay, I need to watch this whole episode.
Okay,
it makes me want to.
Yeah.
Nothing she said in the clips made me want to watch a whole episode.
Right.
But all I will say is this: if that's the demographic of her staff, and she's got someone like this Nick Fuentes guy, she's got no respect for them.
Right.
None whatsoever. And
right.
If I don't know, is her partner black as well? I'm not sure.
She had an ex guy that was. Right. I'm assuming that's what she's dating, which is
right. So where's the respect for them as well? So yeah, I know what it is. I'm not even surprised. Like at some point, you know, someone like you said, background's very affluent, like used, you know, black outrage. To get props, and I'm not surprised this is all coming out now. Really not surprised at all.
Yeah,
and it's like when will we learn? You know, when will we learn? That's my opinion.
When will you learn? When will we? Well, from my case, it's just like I didn't actually know about her. O'Shea mentioned her some time back.
Right.
Like, oh, let me do my research and just check up and see what she's doing on TikTok, because like that's why you get most short clips these days. It's just like go to TikTok, search someone's name, and you find the clip. But I actually knew of the ex-boyfriend before I actually knew of her, because he does, I think, angry reactions or something like that. He's a funny guy on TikTok. So most people know of him. So I saw her clips and they were giving off, pick me. No offense. I know some people may disagree and agree with what she's saying and whatnot, but to me personally, she just gave off those vibes of, like, girls who want to be one of the boys so badly.
Right.
Like they'll do anything to side with the men and the boys. They're just like, oh yeah, all the girls, yeah. It's like, oh, girls are this. Like, yes, girls are really that. It's like, oh yes, do this, be submissive. Nothing is wrong with submission, by the way. I'm just saying. It's just that the way she comes off, and for someone like O'Shea mentioned, she's 26, right? She has no experience. I feel like if you've not been through something, you've not experienced it to its full capacity for you to be giving off this advice. Like, what are you basing this off of? Is it books you've read? Is it what you've interacted with? You've not been through this,
Yeah, she's blatantly like stats driven.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of a personal experience, like how much has she been through?
Exactly. The same way I come on this podcast, I can't speak, when we bring on some topics, like there's some topics I can't talk about because I've not been to the US, I've not been to the UK. So I can't say, oh yes, I think that I've not been there. So I can't speak on something when I've not done it or been there. But I don't know. What do you think?
Just like I said, I'm going to pass off to O'Shea, but it's just like, when will we learn? Like something like this always happens, right? When you have someone that looks like her going basically into, like, I know there's these like quotes, black Twitter, and you go into that space, right? And they never show any respect, and something always comes out down the line, always. And it's just time to protect our spaces, I believe.
So I have a few things that I've witnessed. Let me just kind of talk about my experience here, and even this podcast. Yeah. If we all lived in London, we may never hang out or work together because we just wouldn't need to. Or the States as blacks. We would be in our own cliques. You would likely be in the Ugandan community or something. Maybe be in a greater international community, but living here in Uganda, it forced us to work together as blacks. And it forced us to make each other get better, which is kind of how it was back in, let's say, civil rights or redlining. Blacks had to live and work together. Now, blacks have, and I want to give a shout out to a guy that's getting a lot of heat right now, Obsidian Media Network. Blacks have the freedom of association now. They don't have to work together. So if you're a smart white person, you can instantly understand that. There's a need for this sort of content with these people, but they don't even like each other enough to work together. So I'll put them together, but not something that will benefit them as a group. It will benefit just me, right? Because I know that they don't like each other. And I can play my whiteness off like white Karen or white girl, whatever. And I am a white woman that will sleep with a black man. So black people will forgive these things, and then I can play stupid when I act like I don't know what's going on. And which is what you see a lot of times whites do. Now, a lot of blacks feel because I'm married, and I don't have any problem or take any umbrage when anybody married to a mulatto or married to white, whatever. That's your discretion, and people do different things in life. That's fine. The difference is, in that setting, if somebody offends you from another group, how do you then behave? Because people would think that you're automatically compromised if you are in an interracial relationship or whatever your sexuality may be. That's what Malcolm X would think, depending on certain folks. But I'm looking at what is that person's behavior in this situation. When this person is saying something offensive about blacks or African Americans or Africans, and then as a black person, what is your response? I'm looking at that. If you somehow try to forgive that and think that it's okay, and then your excuse is, well, she's giving black people jobs, well, then my question is this: how can somebody give you a job within your own culture? Like, hip hop is your own culture. Black media is your own culture. That's just like me coming here and giving somebody a job at a Luwumbo restaurant or selling Ugandan goods or Ugandan fabrics. How can I give you a job in something that's your culture? It don't look good. It looks bad if I were to do that. Now, if I'm bringing a different industry that didn't exist here, that's something that may be a little bit different. But if it's about your culture, that's bad. That's the first thing, primarily. And then the fact that, you know, as a white woman or a white person, because they will have sex with you or marry you, that must mean they're not racist. Some of the most racist people are having sex with black folks. They are eating up, they're wherever they down there and whatever down there and all kind of stuff. All right. I'm trying to keep it clean, but
sorry, mama.
Yeah. The white people like having sex. We've seen this. Look at Brazil. Brazil ain't nothing but a whole bunch of Africans and white people that came together and started having sex. And we see the offspring now. White folks don't have no problem marrying black people, especially the French and the English. They love having, they've been doing that for years. My DNA, as black as I am, is like 15% probably Caucasian. So I have a great grandfather that was white, probably. I'm just, somebody was black now, but as you can see.
Yeah.
So as a group, we also defend, because she started saying like she apologized at first, or at least took accountability. Yeah. Now she's saying she's coming after all the content creators. That would include me, because I got a whole bunch of videos about her. And because blacks told her, don't apologize to these blacks. This is what black people telling her. Don't apologize to them. And it just lets me know how sick brothers are. Because you don't want to own your own story. So the white woman comes in and owns your story and then gives the blacks a shitty deal. Yeah. All because you didn't tell your story. Now, last thing before I'm ranting. Here's what blacks got to start to do. If you don't tell your own story, you can't get mad if the white folks want to tell it for you. Yep. And they're never going to tell it for you in the right way. You're going to be offended, okay? Then you want to cry racist, but you won't get in the business. They will get in the business. And she runs a perfect setup. She don't know what she's talking about, but it don't matter when you know how the algorithm work on YouTube. So you can just recite something and pick me and don't have no real experience, but you'll put the money up there. A lot of blacks don't want to take care of each other. And we won't talk about the deals she's giving these blacks. How many blacks give blacks them same deals right here in Africa, right here in America? All the time. Mm-hmm. Blacks will screw you over in business deals quicker than sometimes whites will. Yes. But we want to cry that whites. But you know what? One thing my brother always taught me, you teach cheap people how to treat you. And when people see you cheating your people out, they're going to cheat you too. She didn't go to Singapore and do that with them. She know better. But the blacks won't even get into the business and tell the story. So now you're mad at the whites is doing it. And we can't have it both ways. We can't get mad at her for fake outrage for being racist, but you didn't want to control your own narrative whatsoever, and all of that talent in Black London, and you brothers out there, sisters out there, have the same issue that we have in America. You can't come together. You can't produce nothing. So now the white woman got to come and produce something, and then when she makes y'all look stupid out there, now you call her racist. But that's partly our fault too, because we got the money and the know-how, but we didn't do it.
I didn't look at it from that angle. Me too. One angle I was thinking of why she's probably getting a lot of people saying, don't apologize, keep doing you. Because a lot of men are taking her you know what she got viral for, like the relationship advice
great point.
clip, right? And they're using these clips, right? And they are saying, look at this, look. Why should I trust you? So they don't really, it's from a selfish standpoint. That's my opinion. Like from the outside looking in, I don't really watch her that much. But I'm thinking, as a black man, why would you defend this woman that's now turns out she's not who she presented herself as?
Yeah.
And it's blatantly because you like what she's saying with regards to the, you know,
dating.
Yeah, like women are bad wives, 1 in 4 women this and one. She's always got these stats, right?
Yeah.
So these guys are basically pinning their I suppose their social lives on these stats and these clips. And they don't want to lose that. That's what I feel like. That's a great point. That's the thing that pops in my mind when I think about the people that work for her, defending her, telling her not to apologize, etc.
Can I ask you a question though?
Yeah.
Are these black people anti-black?
I don't think they are intentionally anti-black. They haven't gone out to be it, but the outcome is, yeah, they're probably, no, not probably, they are.
Why?
Because they're not holding her to task. They are there with her. They see what happens on the camera, behind the camera. They know how she works. They know what she's up to, right? When she got this Nick guy on, and you're still there. So that's why I would say that.
What do you think, Jonita?
No, and I think if the way she's paying these guys, or the deal that the black people, is it only the black boys or is it everyone on her team? I'm sure, does she have any white people working for her?
Well, that's a great question. She has a guy from the Daily Wire who used to, Ben Shapiro is a very popular conservative.
Yeah.
But
Heard that name.
The person that manages Candace Owens manages Just Pearly Things. So you already know what kind of person Candace Owens is.
Okay, say less.
So there you go. So you already know. So who knows who's pulling the strings
to do it
behind her, say this, in which I think those kind of, people, Candace Owens, those people are just, they're not even worth responding to. But if you anyhow agree with Candace Owens as a white person and try to absolve yourself from whatever you did to make blacks what they are, because white people love to do that on the right.
Yeah. I
like some of the policies that conservatives have. I don't like Democrats for the most part at all as a political party, because Democrats they were the ones that started slavery. They just switched. So if you agree with Candace Owens about blacks and the dysfunction that blacks are in, and yet you absolve yourself from your involvement in those blacks' dysfunction, I ain't gonna say to you. Because white people, as generations keep going forth and forth, they're trying to absolve themselves from what historically happened. Yeah. And they're having less and less and less empathy and sympathy. And I think because white people don't have the same affluence as in the past in America, they still have it, but not like in the 60s, where if a white person in certain states walked across the street, you would have to cross the street.
Yeah.
Or a 20-year-old white man can call a 7-year-old black man a boy, and he had to take it. So we're not in those times yet. And then now you see like the Asians are there doing very well. You have Nigerian Americans doing very well. So white people are seeing their door kind of close. That's why you're starting to see more whites being a little bit more upfront about how they feel about blacks. We did it with the Delbert guy, this particular individual. But, black people at the core of the issue, I'm starting to see, as long as I've been here in Africa and I've talked to blacks over the world, black people really dislike one another and hate themselves. Because there is nobody in the Jewish community, if you offend them, nobody will say, don't apologize to them, to Jewish. Yeah. If they feel that way, they may. But you know what? They won't say nothing.
Yeah.
Because they know that if they say something, the mob is coming for their ass.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if I at least think, I used to have some videos on certain police brutality in America, and I would look at the video and I would say, well, this guy, I mean, he's going to get shot. Like, I can see, wow, it's justified. But I will never do that anymore. Knowing what we've been through, even if I agree, I just won't say nothing. I'll be quiet. Because I'm never going to give white people a reason to hurt blacks, even if they're in the right. Because other groups don't do that.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to play it fair down the board because they don't play it fair with us. So if it happens, I just won't say shit. Because I remember that you had an Asian cop in New York City that killed a black person, and it was completely unlawful. What did the Asian community do at that time? A lot of them. They stood by the guy. And that taught me something. You know? So if you stand with somebody who, and I don't understand about blacks standing up, people disrespect you. What do you get out of that? What is Just Pearly things going to do for you such that you sticking up for her? There need to be an incentive for it if you're going to sell out. What do you get? I can see the people who work for her that probably doing that because they got an incentive. But you, who when you go out in the world tomorrow, she ain't going to help you pay no bills. The black person in your community is more likely to help you than her. What's your incentive for doing what you're doing? Black people hate each other. And they hate themselves. And anybody who's smart knows that. It's not just an American thing. Right here in Uganda. And I'm going to say this before I transfer. Yeah. As a black American in Uganda, people will help you. I've noticed this. Help maintain. And we're still blacks, right? But they're more likely to help us than help somebody else. Now, we don't know what's going to happen when the Asian or white man come. It might even be even more help.
Yes, that is true.
So I had to check one guy. I said, brother, listen, I appreciate what you're doing for me. But do you have this same respect for your own people? Because if you did, y'all would be doing, you would be more further, right? Yeah. You willing to help me, and I appreciate that. But you ask somebody his own people, we start talking down on them. I'm like, hold on, bro. Hold on. This is all you got.
And speaking of helping, I don't know what it is in this country with being so, I don't know. Most people say that Ugandans are hospitable. Like when you come to Uganda, you'll be welcomed. It's all smiles, it's all dances. It's, oh, you need this, let me do this for you. Oh, you need this, let me do this for you. But then they won't do that same thing for a fellow Ugandan. I don't know. Does that happen in other countries or it's just this country?
Hell, every country. And
when you say that they're nice, so you're saying that of course they're nice to you as, foreigners, not foreigners, like African Americans and the Caribbean. But trust me, Ugandans will be super nice to a white person. Very nice. They'll go above and beyond. They'll even step in fire for the white person. Yeah, it's very unfortunate, but you see it. You see when you can see how Ugandans act around a white person. You're like, you guys are not like this. You're not stepping over and you're not jumping over things to offer this excellent service for this white person. It's like, oh, the white person wants water. It's like, oh, here's the water. Anything else? You need anything? And white person, you need anything else? Oh, here it is, or what not. And then if a Uganda needs something, it's like, oh, yeah, give us 30 minutes. Be thirsty for a while. Give us 30 minutes. We'll get it to you. But yeah, I don't know.
Do you know what? It's so interesting that you say that, Jonita, because when I speak to like older Ugandans, males and females, they look on like the British colonization period quite favorably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maintain.
They're like they don't like the Chinese so much.
Yes.
But the Brits, they hold them in such high regard.
Do you know why that is? It's because they benefited. The ones you're talking about are the people who are working with the Brits to make money, but they made money during that time. The Ugandans who were super wealthy when the Brits came through. So those ones really love the Brits.
Oh,
yeah. There's a section of Ugandans that.
So maybe it's like it's just like an overspill from colonial times, and like maybe the older generation spoke very, I suppose, kindly about them, and it spread down to them. So it's gone into the kids.
No, it's more
way of thinking.
Seeing a white person as being superior, honestly.
That's even when we're kids, they present themselves because they control their narrative.
Exactly. Even when you're kids, we're not told when colonization happened and everything. You wouldn't hear the older generation say, "Oh, it was so bad and was struggling." No, they'll say they struggled when they had that black president, their own president, but they won't say they struggled when it was a white person who was ruling them. Those are the stories we get. We didn't. So you grow up thinking, oh, the white person is like this demigod or semi-god or something or they don't cheat or something like that. It's just like.
Let me ask you a question. Because I just want to ask you, because you've been working with us for a long time, right? You have worked at one time, at least before you came here, with a white person.
Yeah.
What was the experience between the whites and the blacks?
Lol. Look at me putting my former employer on blast. Honestly, the white lady, she was all right. Mm-hmm. She just would have team meetings in the morning and she'd tell us what we needed to do. Mm-hmm. And as long as you did what you needed to do, then you'd get paid. There was nothing. It was just a work relationship. Do your part and let me pay you and be gone. Okay. That was it.
What about here?
Oh, yeah, I love it here.
Why?
Or do I? I do. I love it here.
Yeah. But what's the difference?
Well, I don't want to compare it to the white person because, it's totally different because I worked there for is it a month or two? Yeah. And I was in a very low position. I was getting money for my dissertation. Times were hard, guys. I just finished uni. I was looking for cash to hand in my paper and defend it and whatnot. So that's when I worked for the white lady. But working here, for an African American, can I say that?
However you want to call me.
Or black?
Yeah.
Well, working for you, it's totally different because you can see when I meet my friends and we compare bosses, everyone's like, oh my God, you have such an amazing boss. Oh my God, you're so good. I'm like, guys, it's come on. He's out there probably choking on his water. But I don't want to get into detail because I don't want you guys to know how good I have it here. But I am okay. If they say pick working for Ugandan or an African American or foreigner, I'm sorry. This is why I'm a sellout. I'll work for the foreigner or African American. I'm sorry, but I cannot deal with Ugandan bosses. I don't think that's my.
Well, so let me say that. Nice. So the opportunity that I see, and I'm thankful for what the country's allowed me to do. But see, that stigma is something that we got to change in the black world, right?
Yeah.
There's sometimes people want to say well, you know what? Working for the foreigner is better than working for the blacks. And even if the foreigner is really taking advantage of me and not trying to develop, and everybody's not going to be like me or somebody else.
Definitely.
But that's something that we need to change.
Definitely.
Because how do you keep your talent coming? I've seen where we have went when we first started here and you're starting and Maintain has joined us. People have helped us. But we're really all of our income or support has come from the black world, Shout out to YouTube for creating the platform, but the black world is what has supported us. And we're scratching the surface. So the key that we need to understand as blacks, African Americans, Caribbeans, Africans, is that we have the biggest economy, one of the biggest ones in the world. Yep. We have unlimited money already to train our people up and reinvest into our people so they can do the same things anybody else can do. You see this podcast, it looks pretty good, right? It doesn't look bad. It's not cheesy. We have what we have because we supporting, our audience supports us. Our people are supporting us. And the money is there, but what do you do with the money? Do you want to pay your people on time? Do you want them to be developed? Do you want to train the leaders for tomorrow? A lot of times we don't care about that. Whites care about who's coming after them all the time. Who's the French president? This guy. I forgot his guy's name. This guy went.
I know his face.
Was it Sarkozy?
Macron?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This guy went to an elite school for grooming people to become the next president in France, I believe. I heard something like that. To be somebody high in the government. Where is that at? We are not training our black people in the African American community. We're not training our next entrepreneurs. We're not training our people to become the next solutions and solve solutions for a community we're familiar with. So when you don't do it, it don't matter you in London, Black London with all that money there, somebody else is going to come and do it for you because you didn't train them. But you can't go to Singapore and do that or Taiwan and do that. Their people are already ready to take the task. We don't train the people for our culture. So that's why we don't have anything. And it's a shame when I hear, I don't want to work for a Ugandan boss, or I don't want to work for a Nigerian boss, or I don't want to work. And we say it too, and then we're going to be real. Yeah. And in the African-American community, we say the same thing. So I've had to, as a black employer, all over the world, right? I've had to overcome so many stigmas because of what somebody else did in the past. So he don't pay on time. So now I have to come in, even to convince King Ghana to be started.
Yeah.
If I was white, I think the guy who really I convinced us to start King Ghana was Jabril.
Yeah. And Kwesi.
He's now, and Kwesi. Kwesi didn't want to work with me.
Yeah.
Because I was black, I think. Yeah. So I had to overcome all these stigmas and build myself up. Now, being American helped a little bit.
Yeah.
But okay, he's familiar in his skin tone. So I attributed skin tone to all these other complexities I'm going to have with him.
Yeah.
He's going to lie. He's not going to pay. So I had to have this good record of doing these things and reinvesting. It took me so long to win everybody over here over. A long time. I think with you, your sister knew me and was here before, so it was like a little bit easier in Patrick. But everybody else, I had to really, it's gotten easier now. But the first 2 to 3 years, I had to prove myself. And we shouldn't have to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So as blacks, we have a big opportunity. We have smart people. We have college educated people. We have people who are skilled and talented. Somebody else shouldn't have to come in and because you hate your own people that you don't want to work with them. Like never has a Nigerian in London was actually successful as crazy as a lot. There's a Nigerian with an airport named after him in London, right? What's the name of the airport? A Nigerian owns an airport in London. I don't know if it's Luton. I flew into Luton before, but it's at least one. Guys comment in the section. Stansted. I believe that's what it is.
Really?
Yeah, Nigerian owns the airport there in London. Wow. And Nigerians are doing good in London and America.
I had no idea.
Yeah. But look, it's one of the hot spots for black London. Like, money's there.
Oh, yeah.
So why can't the brothers in London set that up? So we can go out there and collab with them and they come out here and collab. Yeah. We can keep all that money together in the black world and buy more computers or sponsor the universities. We don't even need the Caucasians to support what we're doing. We don't have to have nobody because we have enough money to do it already.
Yeah.
The black world is huge. But that's what I'm saying is we don't go into business thinking with a black mind. We go into business thinking with our own individual mind. But the Chinese thinking with a Chinese mind. Arabs thinking with an Arab mind. So they think about with this money, I'm gonna help myself, but I'm also gonna help my people. Black people, folks gonna be like, let them get it on their own. And everybody need help. Everybody needs help. And don't nobody need more help than black people. We gotta change that because it hurts my feelings to hear Ugandan boss, I don't want to work for them.
Yeah.
Kenyan boss, I don't want to work for them. African American boss, I don't. Whoa. We need to talk about this. We need entrepreneurs to understand, develop your people. Your people ain't the same as the whites. They need more help. They need more time.
Yeah, what you said, how you ended that was very true. We need more time. It's like whenever we get something, we just protect it.
Right.
Right, because it's very hard to obtain certain things, whether it be US, UK, London or Sacramento, right? And I feel like it's a mindset thing, right? Because when in London growing up, I grew up in a town in London called Harlesden, right? It's like 80% black. And whenever a black person, I remember even as a kid, I used to think, why was this? I'd be in like a black takeaway store or barber, like black people will come in and first thing they ask for is a discount. You know what I'm saying? Yo, brother, look, I know it's £10, but can you give me this haircut for £5? You know what I mean? I know this is £20, but you know what I mean, can I get it for 15? You know, and it's that sort of, I've always disliked that.
I got the hookup.
Yeah.
Hook me up.
It's like everywhere I've gone, my friends have opened business. I make a point of going there. I make a point of spending. Even if they try and tell me no on the house I'm like no.
Right.
I'm supporting you.
Right.
So you can, and then people seeing me do it would be like, you know what? It's not cool. I keep coming in asking O'Shea for a discount or Jonita, for something off on that. And for me, that needs to change. And once that change, I can see it changing because in London, there's a rapper called Swiss who was affiliated with the So Solid crew. He's opened up a store called the Black Pound store. And in this store, he's got nothing but products made, invented, you name it, by black people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
I gotta go there and get broke.
Yeah. So yeah, that like before I came here, I was spending in there. My wife was spending in there as well. So yeah, so we know the narrative is changing, and with people like a Carla, Afua Hirsch, you know, Renee Lodge, I hope I got her name right. You know, these people writing books, giving their experience and showing like this is what we need to do to come together. I believe it's going to change, but it's a long road.
Yeah.
Right.
But the mentality really, really has to change.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's just going to be, we're just going to be in this rut
all the time,
time, and be taken advantage of by people that look like Pearl Necklace. I'm sorry, I mean
just pretty things.
Sorry.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, I definitely do agree with you, Minted, about changing the mentality and whatnot. And I know when someone sees this, they're like, oh, should not work for her own people. I'm sure there's some amazing Ugandan bosses out there. I've heard amazing things about some bosses. So it's just, however much we have to change our mentality, our people need to do better.
Right.
Because we can change the mentality all we want, but if you don't pay your workers on time, if you have shitty rules, if you mistreat people, if your people are not progressing in that field, if you're not adding into your people, if you're not pouring into your people, then I'm sorry.
Well, we was talking about it off air, right? I'm not going to mention what we was talking about. Where we was talking about like an old player in the game being very arrogant with regards to their staff and how they treated them.
Yeah.
New player came along, was shiny, Emperor's new clothes. Here, I'll give you this. Here, I'll give you that. Exodus from the old player was gone. They're now like out there speaking to ex-employees like, please come back.
Yeah.
And, you know, and this is one thing about this life. It may not be now, it may not be later.
But it's coming.
But the humble pie is coming.
Yep.
So, you know, you like, the energy you put out is what you get back.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
you know, I always try and practice that. Sometimes I can't because I'm a human and I get emotional. I'm just like, you know what, but I always try to put out more good energy there, out there, you know, and we need to do that.
Let me just say something real quick before we end. You know, shout out to brother Tim Swain. They're doing an excellent job in the Accra diaspora, and you know, me and Maintain have been talking about doing some things. In fact, you have something tomorrow.
I do, yes.
I gotta give him some money tonight. So the thing I love about coming back to the continent is there is some strain because you're forced to work with your people. If it's the diasporan community, you're working with them. Or if you're working with the brothers and sisters from here that are the local community, you work, but you have to work with the local, no matter how you do it.
True.
It forces you to work with them to make it right. You know what I mean? Or even me, it forced you to, like in America, I would have less patience. Like if something happens, I'd just be like, all right, man, let me go get whoever can do the job.
Yeah, yeah.
But here I can't do that as much. Here I have to
develop.
Yes. Yes. And black people need to be in a situation where they got to develop. Now, when you're in a city like Sacramento, where you have 13, 15% whites and blacks, and you don't have to really work with your people, you're not trying to really be in a black utopia. When I notice about other groups in America, no matter what the percentage is, Ukrainians are going to build their community amongst Ukrainians. And the whites are going to do it, or even, let's say, Asians or Russians. They're going to move, even Jews, they're going to move to the same neighborhood if they can. They're all going to live in the same neighborhood. Indians are going to do that. They're going to develop their people. Ethiopians are great at that. They're going to close themselves off and they're going to deal with it. They're going to get in the same industry, same business, and they're going to develop each other there. So their communities start coming up. As blacks, we don't intentionally try to work with blacks. And I found that to be the truest thing. My mom, you know, she wanted me to go into, I went to medical school. So after going to medical school, the plan was to just be a family doctor in the States or whatever, or do whatever you're going to do and live in the suburbs somewhere with a black wife or something like that, and the kid that went to school with white people probably. That was kind of the goal, right? And then you would be mad at how he turned out or she turned out because You put them in a different environment that you wasn't in. So, but what I've noticed is the best opportunities in the black world. Organizing your own people. Because I can be a man here. United States ain't gonna let you be a man. Because whenever they got the rules, it ain't gonna never benefit you. I don't care how much money you make. Facts. You can make $500 million a year, and you could be like Damon John praising Farrakhan for a sermon and got to take your tweet down. I don't want that kind of money if I got to have it. I don't need it. But I'd rather be able to write my own ticket and clean up my own people and get cleaned up in the process and heal at the same time. Whether it's in a black city in America, it don't matter, or here. But we have to forcefully try to work it out because we don't have no other choice. Because if you don't work it out, these other people are going to work it out for you, and you're not going to like what they're going to do. So be proud to be black, and it's not easy, but it will get better. You got to start now. For real.
On a positive note, not saying that's not positive, it's very constructive, but I would like to big up two people that follow Kanganda.
Okay.
So remember our episode?
Yeah.
There's no hope in Africa.
Yes.
I speak about my boy Most Optin, the graphic designer.
Yeah.
So you know who you are. I'm not going to mention your name. I'm going to put you out there. But they hollered at me.
Yeah.
And then wanted Most's details.
Mm-hmm.
And the two people are now speaking to him, and they're organizing work for Most.
Wow.
Yeah. And any projects he's got going on, they want to help with.
Wow.
And he phoned me up this week to thank me and say, bro, I watched the episode. I got emotional.
Wow.
Thank you so much. So the two guys that stepped up.
Shout out to you.
Shout out to you. You know who you are. Big up.
Thank you.
Podcast changing lives.
That's what we need to do.
Yeah.
I didn't even rant this episode, but I'm going to get one of those next week, though.
Maintain gets sensible DMs. If you see my DMs.
Hello, baby.
Where are the sensible people?
I want
in the
to
DMs.
take you to Dubai today. Huh?
But,
Jonita.
Yes. You look very nice.
But shout out to the two people who reached out to Mo. Yeah, shout out to him.
Big up.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, let's close this one out. Any last remarks?
Nothing to say.
Insane. I think you already get.
Yeah, just respect. Let's respect ourselves.
Yeah.
Let's respect ourselves. That's all.
Yeah. Let's be the change we want to see. But tell the poor they can find you, Maintain.
Yeah. All social mediums at DJ Maintain.
Okay. O'Shea?
At O'Shea Duke, Instagram.
Okay. And you can find us at Kangana Nation on all social media platforms. Subscribe to this channel, hit the bell for notifications, and also subscribe to the Pan-African Dating Show. We'll see you guys next time.